And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed. To you it shall be for food. Genesis 1:29. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. Psalm 78:25. Everyday Manna with Lisa.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Everyday Manna. On today's program, we're going to be making a quick and easy supper for those of us that get home late, are tired, but yet still want to give our families a good supper. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to be making homemade meatball subs. We're going to make frozen potatoes with just an Italian style dressing on them that we're going to just roast in the oven, and then a simple yet delicious fruit salad with a honey lime dressing on it. So let's get started. I've got my oven preheated to 425 degrees. Now I've already just lined a baking sheet with some aluminum foil, and I bought a bag of just frozen French fries that you can get in any store. I bought the thick cut steak fries because that's what I like. If I were doing these for my children, I probably, my boys like the little crinkle cut. You can use any kind of the French fry, frozen French fry that you like, whatever shape you like. I would not use tater tots, and I would not use the highly seasoned kind that you can buy, just the plain frozen French fries. Just placed them on a baking sheet. I'm going to drizzle them with just a little bit of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. And the reason that I'm doing that is I'm going to be putting some Italian seasoning on there. Now, this is just a wonderful, wonderful product to have in your freezer at all times because you can obviously just roast them the way they are, or you can dress them up 1,000 different ways to flavor whatever kind of meal that you're cooking that day. And I just have plain Italian seasoning, the blend that you buy in your spice section of your grocery store, and I'm just going to toss these lightly with some Italian seasoning mix. And that's all there is to it. And then take your hands and just kind of toss them together a little bit. Kind of get the oil around them and the seasoning around them. And I think I probably need to go ahead and use the rest of this. So let's go ahead and put the rest of our mix on there. And then just kind of smooth them out into a single layer. Use a baking sheet that's large enough that you can spread them out to a single layer, because you want them to get golden brown. Now, I line mine. My new favorite product, and I use it all the time, is the new, well, it's been on the market now a year or so, I guess, maybe two, but the non-stick aluminum foil. You can get the regular aluminum, and then you can get the kind that says non-stick on it. If you have not tried that, I encourage you to get that next time you need foil, because I'm telling you, I love it. Nothing sticks to it. You know how sometimes even when you use foil, things will stick to it? Not with the non-stick. It does fabulously, and I really, really do like it. So we're just going to put these in our 425 degree oven. They're going to take about 25 minutes to roast. And while they're going, we're going to make our meatballs. Now, we got a large skillet here, and we're going to mix up some things for our meatballs. Let's go ahead and get this preheated on medium heat. You don't want to brown them too fast, but you want them obviously to get done. Now in my bowl, I have a pound of ground pork and about 1.33 pounds or so of ground chuck. The reason I use the ground chuck is because, to me, for hamburgers or meatballs, the ground chuck just simply has more flavor. Obviously, it has a little more fat in it than like the 93%, but for burgers and meatballs, I just think that ground chuck has more flavor. But if you want to use the extra lean, by all means do. But do try mixing it a little bit of ground beef with ground pork. The ground pork adds just moistness for one thing, but it adds a different level of flavor, and I love it in meatballs. So that's what we have here. I've got about half of a cup of Italian blend or Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. We're just going to mix those up. If you only have plain breadcrumbs at your house, Maybe you don't have any breadcrumbs and you want to just make up your own. Just use, regular bread and pulse it in your food processor and add some Italian seasoning. We're going to spice them up a little bit more with some. But if you only have the plain, that's fine. Just blend it, with the Italian seasoning and it'll be fine. I've got 1 egg that's going to act as a binder. And I'm going to beat that just a little bit here. Just a little tiny bit before I add it into the meatball mixture. Then I've got about half a teaspoon, because I like things spicy, I've got about half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and we're going to add those. I'm going to crush them in my fingers a little bit before we add to our meatball mixture. I'm going to add just a little bit more of the Italian seasoning because I want these meatballs flavored. I'm going to add about half a teaspoon or so of just dried Italian seasoning mix. Now I have 1 clove of garlic that I'm going to I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the garlic, with the onions, and we'll get these meatballs in the skillet. Hi, and welcome back. Now we're going to finish up making our mixture for our meatballs. I have 1 clove of garlic that I'm going to just use my little microplane to kind of finely shred it up, because I do not want big pieces of garlic in this. Although I love garlic, you don't want to bite into a big chunk. So we're just going to use our little microplane. I love this tool, and it's just readily available anywhere now. So see, what happens though is the garlic sticks to the back of your microplane. So you always need to tap it, take another knife or something, and get all that off there, because you don't want to waste any of that wonderful flavor. And we're going to do the same thing with our onion. I've got 1 kind of small onion, but again, these are little meatballs, and I don't want the big pieces of onion, but I do want the flavor of the onion. So what I'm going to do is use something that probably every single one of you have in your kitchen, and that's a box grater. And I'm going to just, see what I'm doing? I'm using the large holes of my box grater, and I'm going to just simply grate up my onion, because I don't want big chunks, and I can chop pretty fine, but this makes it much easier to just kind of grate it up. You see what happens? You get like this pulp on your cutting board, and that's exactly what you want. See the juices and all that pulp just kind of dripping down there. Takes just a minute. You could also use your food processor if you wanted to, and make it, just pulse it till it's really, really super fine, but box grater works just great. Any big pieces like that one that just fell off, just discard those. You don't want those in there. Watch your fingers. This is not a job I would let my children do. This is a job for a grown-up. And I think let's do just a little more, but I think that'll be plenty. I had someone ask me the other day, said, do you ever cry when you chop onions? Because if you notice, you'll never see me with tears in my eyes when I chop onions. The reason for that is I wear contacts. And for those of you out there that wear contacts, you know what I'm talking about. I could chop onions all day long. Never bothers me. I think it's because the contact obviously coats my eye wherever the juices and the aromas, chemicals from the onion get in. Doesn't bother me at all. Take all that onion and put it in your, get the juice too if you can. You could grate it, of course, over your bowl if you wanted to. But remember, you got onion juice on your cutting board. Now, we're going to add to that, we're going to add about a tablespoon of salt, some freshly ground pepper, and we're going to grate in some fresh Parmesan cheese, about half a cup, and I'm just going to grate it in there, about half a cup of it. Save some, of course, for the top. My favorite cheese in the whole wide world. I use it in anything I can possibly use it in. I love to just shred off pieces of Parmesan cheese and eat it. It's just my favorite cheese. There we go. Now there's your basis for your meatballs. Now our skillet is getting hot. So let's get our meatballs mixed up. Just light hand when you're working with a meatball mixture or a meatloaf mixture. Remember, use a light hand. You want to mix it, but you do not want to over mix it. You just want to incorporate your ingredients. And you know what? I forgot my parsley. So let me stop right there. Let's take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to chop our parsley and get our meatballs in the skillet. I'll be right back. All right, now we've got our parsley. So let's get, I'm using the flat leaf Italian parsley. You can use the curly leaf if you like. You've heard me say it many times. I just prefer the flavor of the flat leaf parsley. Something you want to be very careful of though, when you're in the store, when you're buying your parsley, don't mistake the flat leaf parsley for cilantro. They look amazingly similar. The flavors are totally different. They're on opposite ends of the spectrum in flavor. So make sure that you do, if you do buy the flat leaf parsley, that you get parsley and not cilantro. Because cilantro is a total different texture and flavor, actually. We just want to chop it up kind of fine. You've seen me do this before. Just put your knife, one end on the board, and just go back and forth, scooping it together as needed. Any herb, same technique for chopping, absolutely any herb that you want. In a pinch, I guess you could use dried parsley if you wanted to. I'm not a real big fan of the dried parsley in this kind of recipe because the fresh is inexpensive and it adds so much flavor. You know, some of the herbs, when you get them fresh in the store, can be kind of pricey. In the summertime, I grow my own herbs and use them a lot. In the winter, I do use a lot more of the dried herbs, but parsley is one of those things that's just inexpensive and it adds so much flavor. So you really would want to use the fresh parsley in this recipe. So we want to add that, and then we'll finish mixing up our meatballs. Our skillet is hot. So let's get our meatball mixture done. Remember what I said, light hand in mixing up your meatballs. Let's add, let me wipe my hands here. Let's add some oil to our skillet, about, I don't know, 3-4 tablespoons full, depending on the size of your skillet. You want to use a skillet that has got some, see how my skillet has got some width in the sides here? It's deeper because I'm going to be adding my sauce to this as soon as my meatballs brown. So let's move this over here. You want to make about, oh, I don't know, 1 inch, 1.5 inch size meatballs. See how I'm doing there? About like that. And then drop it in your pan. Be careful not to burn yourself. You want these to be sort of bite size, maybe just a little bit bigger than bite size, because you're putting them, we're going to put them in a hoagie, in a, you know, a sub type bun. Love meatballs. Let me turn that down just a little bit. I just want to kind of lightly brown these. You do not want to overdo it on the browning on these because you're going to simmer them in the sauce. They're going to be delicious. We're just rolling these out. See how I'm doing? Just little. Make them all about the same size so they finish cooking at the same. See, we just put a little bit and then kind of roll it and make a little round ball. Very easy to do. These are a great thing to do ahead. If you don't, maybe you don't need quite this much mixture. Make the meatballs. And then you can even go ahead and cook them if you want to, or you could freeze them at this stage right here. And then one day when you're in a really big hurry, just pull them out, you know, let them thaw. You could either do it the night before and let them thaw overnight, or you could put them in your crock pot with the sauce and let them simmer all day long, and then when you come home, supper's done. I do that a lot. And I do, a lot of times, I will make a full recipe of something and then just use the excess. Here's a big piece of onion, I don't want that. Use the extra that maybe we can't eat that day, and I'll put it in the freezer. And then one day when I just, you know, too tired to cook when we come home, like some of us really are, You know, you just pull it out that next day, or you know, put it in your crock pot and let it simmer all day long, and supper's ready when you get home. I use my crock pot a lot. We're going to do that some on the program. We're going to make some different recipes where we, you know, use our crock pot. I'm going to take another break. When I come back, we're going to finish up these meatballs and get started on our fruit salad. I'll be right back with you. And welcome back. Now we've just kind of turned our meatballs just to the other side, let them kind of simmer. We're going to be adding our marinara sauce here in just a few minutes, but let's get started on our salad. Now I'm using just ingredients that you can get anywhere. We're going to use a can of chunked pineapple. I want to save about half the juice out of this can and then not the other half. So let's drain out some of the juice of the pineapple. There you go. Easy. 1 can of mandarin oranges that I have drained completely. That simple. Then I'm going to do the same thing with some peaches. I'm going to just use, you know, the juice, although these are kind of thick, so I probably will use all of the juice from my peaches here. And just kind of let it drain. These are just chunks of peaches in the heavy syrup. You can use the light if you want to, the fruit juice. Whatever you like is fine with me. Just canned fruit. You know, if you want to use fresh, absolutely, by all means do. But you will need to get some kind of, you know, juice, either pineapple juice or peach nectar juice, something like that to make the dressing with. So we're going to make our dressing first. Set that aside. We've got the juices from our cans here. I've got 1 lime. I want to zest the lime into our dressing. We're going to make a honey lime dressing. You could use absolutely any kind of fruit that you like in this dressing, in this salad. If you like kiwi, add kiwi. If you want to use a fresh pineapple, use a fresh pineapple. Maybe it's, you know, you've got some beautiful blueberries or raspberries or the star fruit that you can get in the stores. Any kind of fruit that you like. You could add a banana. If you're going to add a banana, you want to make sure that you coat that banana after you cut it with either some lime juice or some lemon juice, something to keep it from turning brown. I'm going to add some beautiful strawberries. Whatever kind of fruit you like would be delicious in this. So we've got 1 lime. Roll it on your cutting board. Remember, that kind of releases the juices. Cut it in half. Let's put our strainer over our bowl to keep the seeds out. And then just use your trusty lemon reamer and juice that lime. Squeeze out. This one didn't seem to have any seeds in it. Okay, do both halves of the lime. And we just want to add our lime juice to our fruit juices here. Okay, then we're going to add, got a little pulp there, which I like, so I'm going to add that in there. To this, I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of just regular honey. Now, I was in the store this morning, as a matter of fact, and I saw some honey there of different flavors. And in my store, I don't think has been carrying the different flavors. Maybe yours do. They had orange flavored honey, wildflower honey, clover honey. They had buckwheat honey. They had all kinds. I can't wait to try those. But this is just regular, you know, honey that we buy. Smells fabulous. I love honey, anything with honey on it. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour that dressing back over our fruit. I'm going to add some strawberries. Check our meatballs first. Check on your meatballs. You might need to turn them a little bit, which I do. Let's get these turned, and we'll finish the salad in just 1 second here. Let's get him turned. Look how beautiful and golden and delicious. You could make these meatballs, you could make this entire recipe right here. If you wanted to cook pasta, serve it over your pasta, would be delicious. We're going to do it in sandwiches today. But if you wanted to make, you know, just spaghetti and meatballs, this recipe is wonderful for your meatballs. Now my skillet is a little bit longer. It's kind of an oblong shaped skillet. So I'm going to kind of move mine around to get some of them, you know, on the heat source a little bit more. Let's just get these kind of turned. I've already turned them once. You just kind of want to keep them turning until they're, you know, sort of getting brown. And then we're going to turn the heat down and we're going to add some sauce to them. But let's just let those go for just a minute more. We're going to add just some beautiful strawberries. I'm just going to slice these up, add them to our fruit salad. Let me move that out here. Just some beautiful strawberries. And these smell so good. They are just beautiful and red and just delicious. I love strawberries. I love fruit, period, of it, just really of any kind, but strawberries probably are my favorite. In the summertime when they come, we have a grower locally here where I live, and we get his strawberries, and in the summertime when they come into season, I eat them almost every single day. They are just so incredibly good. Whoops. But you can get really good strawberries year-round. One trick, let me give you a hint on how to pick good strawberries when you're in the store. Pick up the carton and smell them. If they smell like strawberries, and I was talking to one of the girls here this morning, and I said, they smell really strawberry, don't they? You know how you can, how you can use that word, and they really do. If they smell good and ripe and smell like a strawberry should, then the flavor's going to be there. If you pick up a pack of strawberries and you smell them, and they don't smell like anything, you know what? They're not going to taste like anything, so leave them alone. But these particular ones, you know, like I said, they smelled really good this morning. Maybe it's not strawberry season, and maybe you can't find any good smelling strawberries that day. Leave them out and just put, you know, whatever you can find. You could use the canned, you know, fruit cocktail that you get in the store. You could use that and just make the dressing like I did. Use the, you know, drain the fruit cocktail and add your lime and your honey to the dressing and add it back in there, and it's delicious that way. And I think we probably got enough here, so let's try this one. All right, let's get rid of these. I think that's probably enough, and let's stir up our fruit salad. Look how beautiful and healthy. You could make up a big bowl of this early in the week, and then you've got wonderful fruit salad all week long for you and your family to munch on at any time. What a healthy little snack for your children, an after-school snack. Just give them some fruit salad, you know, when they come home from school or any time of the day. Now to this, we're going to add, I just have some sliced almonds. Now I'm not going to add them to the bowl. What I'm going to do when I make a well, here, let's just get you a serving up here. We're going to do a serving of our fruit salad. And to that, because if I added it down in there, the nuts would kind of get soggy, and I really don't want that. So over top of your serving of your fruit salad, just add some sliced almonds. If you don't have any almonds, maybe you've got some pecans. That would be delicious too. And there you go. There's just a simple little fruit salad that you could eat all week long. It would keep in your refrigerator. And just add the nuts on top. Let's check our meatballs. They're looking good, so let's add to this. You want to brown them, which is what I've done. Now, all I did was buy a jar of my favorite marinara sauce. Whatever kind of spaghetti sauce that you like is what you want to buy. I like this particular brand, and so I just bought one jar of the marinara sauce that I like, but you use whatever kind you like. If you don't want to use the jar and you want to use some fresh tomatoes and add some spices into it, that'd be fine. Your homemade spaghetti sauce would be great. But I find for just a queasy go-to meal, this is perfect. And just pour that over, cover up your meatballs, because really what you're wanting to do, see how we're just going to kind of toss those around. What you're wanting to do is simmer, let's turn it down just a little bit. You want to simmer those meatballs in that sauce for about 15 minutes or so that the meatballs will continue to cook and you know, finish cooking in the sauce. So those are really ready to go. Now, I have some just hoagie buns that you can buy in any store over there in the bread with the regular bread, whatever kind of sub-type roll that you like. I like these particular ones very well. I like the ones with the seeds on them. We want to just open these up. We're going to toast them just a little bit. Come on, you. Well, let's see. We might need to do them like this. So I've got room for all 6. I have 6 because that will easily serve 6 people. These are pretty big filling subs too, so your family will not go away hungry. We want to just put these in the oven and kind of let them brown up here. So in the same temperature that you've got your potatoes in, your French fries, we can just stick these right in the oven and just let them warm through. All right, now our potatoes are done. We took them out of the oven, and look how delicious and golden with just that little bit of Italian seasoning and olive oil, and I just sprinkled them with a little bit of salt. Our meatballs are done, and I've toasted our buns, so we want to take about probably 3 meatballs per sub and just kind of put that on there. About 3 will do it for mine. It just depends on how big your buns that you bought are. Oh, look at that, how good that looks. And we want to take a little bit more of our grated Parmesan cheese and just kind of grate that over that meatball. I'm a happy camper. Just give me that cheese and I'll eat it up. And then put your bun right there on top of your sub, and there you go. There is a delicious meatball sub with the Italian French fries that we made just from frozen fries with some Italian dressing on there. Our wonderful fruit salad that we made with just some canned fruit and fresh strawberries. We made a dressing out of the juices from the canned fruit, some honey, and the zest and juice of a lime. We sprinkled it with a little bit of just almonds, just sliced almonds. We've got our wonderful sub. I can't wait to dig into that. And our French fries. I hope you try these recipes, and I will see you next time on Everyday Manna.
Thank you for watching Everyday Manna with Lisa. This program is made possible by viewers like you. Your support is continually needed to keep Christian programming on the air. Please send your best financial gift to Living Faith Television in care of Everyday Manna, P.O. Box 1867, Abingdon, Virginia 24212.